Welcome to the historical village of Sleepy Hollow, New York, home of the legendary Headless Horseman. This literary figure is literally embraced all over town. He appears on everything from menus, to street signs, to emergency vehicles. Brandon and myself are from Illinois, which, as you can imagine, consists of very flat landscapes, so we were quite impressed with the rolling hills and mountains that make up New York State. But as we witnessed, they can have their downsides if you're not careful. Poor bus.
Later that night, we were finally able to visit a haunt that has been high on our list for a long time, Headless Horseman. The haunt is located an hour north of Sleepy Hollow in Ulster Park, New York. We weren't allowed to film inside, but Headless Horseman truly lives up to its top 10 reputation with 10 haunted attractions, including a hayride and magic show. We spent around 2.5 hours inside enjoying every detail and scare in this giant attraction. Expect to see advanced sets and illusions with no shortage of ghouls. Horseman features a full-sized motel, diner, corn maze, greenhouse, and theatrical hayride, simply to name a few. There's also multiple stores selling Halloween-themed merchandise, as well as vendors with fall-themed food and drinks. If you find yourself around New York City in the fall, Headless Horseman is not an attraction you want to miss.
The sun shining down on the beautiful village of Sleepy Hollow is not what we experienced at the home of author Washington Irving Saturday morning. Despite the rain that would not quit, we were still very eager to see the grounds. However, a very necessary purchase was in order. Yep, bright green garbage bags.
Wearing a poncho is like being on a Segway. You can't make this look cool.
Anyways, behold, Sunnyside. Sunnyside is located in the aptly named town of Irvington, which neighbors Sleepy Hollow. Irving purchased the property on June 7th, 1835 for $1,800, which we were told was expensive back then. The tour of the interior features artwork that captures the famous chase scene between the Headless Horseman and Ichabod Crane. We were also allowed to peek into Irving's personal library. With it becoming too wet for our DSLRs, we took to using our iPhones instead. After exploring the grounds on our own, we joined up with the Spooky Walk tour, where we were told one of Irving's ghost stories in the woods, in the rain. Although Sunnyside is a truly beautiful historical place and a pleasure to visit, we had grown extremely tired of the weather. To dry off and grab some lunch, we tried our luck at the most superstitious cafe in town. As we caught up on local news, the rain started to slow down. With a couple hours to kill, we decided it was time to visit the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. The size of headstones vary from the massive to the modest, and like Russian nesting dolls, they get smaller, 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 and even smaller. Oh wait, that's a rock. Then the unthinkable happened. We had been discovered by the crypt keeper and were told we needed a permit to bring our gear inside the cemetery. Prior to shooting, we had read all the signs, and it seemed that the only activity that required a permit was fishing. Since we hadn't been fishing, we couldn't imagine why we were being told to leave. Perhaps they thought we were going to be disrespectful to the graves. Oh wait, they've already done that. But since the man said nothing about iPhones, we hustled back in to get some pickup shots, including the Irving family plot. Washington Irving's grave is cleverly marked by the small pumpkin in the back.
Welcome to Horseman's Hollow, where we met her.
Your nails. I was hoping maybe when I make my next pair of gloves, I can find some way to make sure the nails are still attached. It would be beautiful. We shall see.
And him.
Oh, very cool! Where are you all from?
Chicago.
Chicago! You are the ones with the dish pizza that looks like a swimming pool of marinaras.
That's the one.
I love it. It reminds me of a dish I make using tiny children and bread.
That's nice.
And what brings you to our humble abode?
You guys.
Yes! You are ready to have a good time, I hope.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic.
Oh, we
I'm
can't wait.
very excited.
Thank you so much.
It's gonna be good.
This haunt was brilliantly constructed in the same lot as the 300-year-old Phillipsburg Manor. Horseman's Hollow had committed actors, detailed sets, and even included a fire element. The haunt also treats guests to elaborate creatures and costumes throughout its 30-minute walkthrough, concluding with the Horseman himself. After we finished blinding haunters with an obnoxiously bright light, we had to move on to the second attraction of the evening. The Great Jack-o'-lantern Blaze is home to over 5,000 individually hand-carved jack-o'-lanterns that spread across the Van Cortlandt Manor. The attraction is a massive walkthrough of lights, original ambient music, and Halloween spirit. There are pumpkins that have been carved and stacked to create various still and animated scenes. We were captivated as we discovered larger and larger galleries of jack-o'-lanterns. Our goal was to stay out of New York City as much as possible, but we couldn't pass up the chance for a Sunday night dinner at the Jekyll and Hyde Club in Times Square. This restaurant pulls you out of the hustle and bustle of New York City and throws you into 19th century London. We were entertained throughout our meal by actors, random curiosities, and a talking pharaoh and shark. And of course, the birth of Frankenstein himself. This restaurant leaves no corner undecorated and even takes the old London horror theme to the bathroom, which you have to find through a trap door. The Jekyll and Hyde Club was a unique horror-themed meal experience for our last night in New York. Monday brought warm autumn sunshine to the now quiet weekday version of Sleepy Hollow, although it was garbage day.
What'd you say?
I don't know. Sanitation's really loud.
We couldn't leave without one more stop at the Horseman to try their delicious homemade pumpkin pie and take in some of the more gothic architectural wonders like Lyndhurst Mansion. Our trip to New York had ended, but the legend of Sleepy Hollow and the intensity at which the Hudson Valley embraces Halloween is something we will never forget.